Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about my favorite technique of all time. It is the technique that I'm most confident in, the Shaky Head Technique. Before we do that, though, I want to say welcome to all the new subscribers. Over the last week or so, this channel has grown over 200 subscribers. So if you're new to the channel, round of applause for you. Yes, round of applause for you. Y'all deserve it. And leave a comment down below. Why you join the channel, what you're looking to learn here. And welcome to the community. I think it's going to be a lot of fun for you here at this channel. Now, today, let's get into the Shaky Head Technique. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. As we go into the Shaky Head Technique, we're going to be talking about all the gear that I use. We're going to be talking about how and where to fish it. And I'm going to start putting the links below in the comment section or in the bio section below to all the tackle that I use personally. This is something I just like, I'm confident in, and hopefully it'll help you pick out the right gear instead of trying to figure out all the new stuff and try to search everywhere for what you want to use. So starting with the gear, I like to fish my Shaky Head Technique on a 7.3 or 7.1 medium powered spinning rod. Now, I say this all the time, if you don't have that, if it's 7 foot, if it's 6'7", whatever, it's a medium power spinning rod, it's gonna work, okay? But I like to fish on a 7.1 to 7.3 because of casting distance. It helps me get it out there a lot farther. So for this technique, and for most of my finesse techniques, I always use 10-pound Neo, which is like high-vis braid. I always go with the Suffix braid. Comes in this kind of package right here, the Suffix Neo 10-pound braid. It's just really high-vis. And it's going to be really important to use that when we're talking about finesse techniques. When we talk about fishing it, sometimes that bite is so subtle, all you see is the line move. And with low-vis braid, with that moss green braid, it's really hard to see that line move. So that neon braid, it really, those bites, you see that line jump. You'll see that line move easier with that neon high-vis braid. So I'll go 10-pound braid. As far as my leader line, so I'm going to tie a fluorocarbon leader. I use 8 or 10-pound fluorocarbon leader. If I'm really doing finesse, like really finessey, I'll go 6-pound fluorocarbon, but you don't need to do all that. 8-pound will be perfect. If you have 10-pound, great, okay? I forgot to say, if you don't know how to tie on like the leader line yet, that's okay, right? I have a video for that on how to tie a double uni braid to fluorocarbon or braid to mono connection knot. Right here in the video card below, click that video to learn how to tie on any leader to a braid line. Back to the video. Now let's talk about the terminal tackle and the lures that I use for a Shaky Head. So the one that I use the most, I use this 3/8 ounce Shaky Head SMH Shaking My Head Jig Head. My favorite YouTuber, the one that got me into YouTube and into fishing in the first place when I started learning about it, was Brian Latimer. He came out with this SMH jig head a couple years ago. Shout out to Brian Latimer. B-Lat, shout out to you, dog. He came out with this and I've used it forever. I'm gonna talk about why I like it in a little bit. But I use this Shaking My Head jig head, and I use the Netbait Tmac Straightail worm. I use it in Bama Bug color. I take that with me everywhere. It's always tied on. So is my bag. That is the setup that I use. Now let's talk about why I use it and a couple alternatives for you. When looking at terminal tackle for the Shaky Head, there's two groups of jig heads that you can use for it. There's the non-screw lock, like the SMH jig head, and there is a screw lock hook, like this Owner Shaky football head. The big difference is that screw lock. The screw lock, for some anglers, as you can see, it limits the space where the fish's lips can go for a bite. So that's why some people avoid the screw lock. I just don't like it because I just like to have that extra space. I like the way it hooks up easier, but that's just my preference. You can use either one. They both work. I have 3 lures for you that I like to use. So the first one, like I said before, is this Netbait Tmac. For a beginner, why I love this the most is because it's affordable and you get like 20 of these in a bag. So you have this for quite some time. The only drawback to the Netbait Tmac is that I can't find it in stores near me. So I have to go to Tackle Warehouse to order it, right? So you may be able to find it in your local tackle shop. I can't, so I have to order it. Some other options for you. Brian Latimer also created this SMH worm with Z-Man. This is pairs with his SMH jig head. I haven't used this one as much, but I do enjoy it. The action on it is great. And like with all the Last Tech, even though there's only 8 in here, they last forever. Last Tech will last you all day. It is super stretchy, it's super durable. This is a great one for beginners as well. And the last one I like to use the most straight tail worms I have here are 6.5, 7 inches long. Okay, 6.5 inches long. The difference is, if I want to go real finessey, I'll go with the Roboworms. Okay, Revros 6-inch straight tail worm. I'll go Aaron's Magic, or I'll go Margarita mutilator. The reason I like the Roboworm is because I use this, it's a little more versatile for me. I use this for a finessey approach to the shaky head, but I also use it for a drop shot. So these are the three that I really like to use. The one that you might find easiest is the Roboworm or this Zoom's Trick Worm. This might be the one that you might find the easiest. It's probably in Walmart near you, probably in the Dick's Sporting Goods near you. So this might be the easiest to obtain. This is a June bug color, which works really well in the summer. But that Netbait Tmac and that Bama Bug color, boy, that will do it for you. So that's the gear. Now, where and how do you fish it? The Shaky Head Technique really shines for me in two places. The first place is anytime there's a steep drop off, right? So maybe you can see it in the bank. You can see all of a sudden you see shoreline, and then all of a sudden you see just nothing. That might be a great place for a shaky head. There's a steep drop off or a ledge. I'll throw my shaky head there and kind of bring it back up that ledge or that rock or those rocks, and it really shines there for me. The place that I found the most success with the shaky head is right along weed lines. Now from a bank, it may be hard to see that weed line, right? So when I do it, I'll throw it out, I'll let it sink, and then I'll drag it across, drag it back to me. If I'm catching weeds on the way back to me, a lot of weeds, heavy weeds, long weeds, right? I'll just throw it a little shorter until I find where the edge of that weed line is, and then that's how I find my distance to kind of lock in. If I'm in a boat or a kayak, I can see it a little bit easier based on the water clarity, but along those weed lines, I have caught some pretty nice bass along the weed line with the shaky head. I'll fish it all year round. I see it most in like the after the spawn, right around for me, like June, July, August, like those summer months. This is when the shaky head really works best for me. And really, if you guys like using a jig, a lot of people will say that a shaky head is a great beginner alternative to a jig. It's a little more finessey approach, an easier approach to a jig, which for me, I have a hard time fishing a jig, but I promise my subscribers, I promise y'all that this year is the year I learned how to fish a jig. But that's how I fish the shaky head. That's where I fish it. When I do fish it, it's one of two ways. I'm either leaving it out there, I'll throw it out there and I'll leave it, count for 30, count for 45 seconds and leave it out there. I might give it a pop every 10 to 20 seconds, but I will let it sit there sometimes, and that is when I've caught some big bass. When they've seen it, they've kind of vetted it, and then I'll just see that line start to move, and that's when I know I can set that hook. Another way I fish it is I'll just slightly drag along the bottom, right? I'll pull, and I'll leave it. I'll pull, leave it, let me give it a pop. But I'll do it so slow. Like when I fish the shaky head, I fish it extremely slow. That is where I've caught bass on it. It's just a slow approach. So that's how I fish the shaky head. Those are the lures that I like, the gear that I like, the shaky head. Try it out this summer if you haven't done it yet. You will catch fish. I love the shaky head. I'm so confident in it. If I can be confident in it, you can definitely be confident in it. The link for everything I said is below in the description. Please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave a comment. I'm loving the community that's happening so far, and that's why I created this channel. I created so beginners can get out there and learn how to fish and not feel ashamed to not know the answers. Not feel ashamed to not know everything about fishing, because I don't know everything about fishing. I just share what I learn with everybody so we can all be growing together as a fishing community. So thank you again for watching the channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Hey, what's up, everybody?